So hello everybody, welcome to Bruce on the Loose. This is Dino Lorenzo.
And I'm Abby Fagan.
And we hope you're all doing well out there. Now you know that Bruce is actually having his book tour as we speak. He's been going all over for the past 2 weeks and it's been amazing. Have you seen the pictures in the fan club, Abby?
It's so cool.
It's amazing. I mean, we have over 50,000 people in the club and everybody's posting pictures. It's just amazing. And Bruce's shirts, of course, are just amazing. Every time that he does an appearance, he has the coolest shirts. Don't you love his outfits?
I do. I like his book tour outfits more than I like his con outfits.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because
I know at the cons, he wears like the really loud suits sometimes. They're always like impeccably, styled and they look cool. But why do you like the book appearance look better for him?
It's more down to earth. It's what I'd imagine him wearing. The suits are awesome. But I guess the first time I met him, he was in a Hawaiian shirt, and that's just how I expect to meet him again.
Absolutely. It's a little more intimate. It's just a little more downplayed. I could see exactly where you're coming from with that. But it's just amazing. So many people posting so many pictures at every single appearance. It was like all last week when he started, because he started on the 14th, the day before the book came out. And it was like from 8/14, through the whole week.
Pictures.
Just tons of pictures with people, right? Isn't that great? And then what I find even better is that you see people in the fan club saying, hey, that was you. I saw you online and, things like that. So fan club members are getting together. They're recognizing each other. I'm hoping that for the future appearances, they kind of start coordinating, maybe meet each other a little bit. Because wouldn't it be great to find the Bruce fan in your town? So you could maybe watch the show with them or go to a movie with them.
Or just talk. Talking's
right.
Fun. I heard that there's a white carnation with red accents. I think Jeremy Johnston said it.
Really? That's interesting. So you wear this thing and then people can identify each other. That's a good idea.
I think that is a good idea.
That's a really smart idea.
Yeah.
It's just, you can meet somebody in your town. Hey, let's go to Starbucks and, drink some overpriced coffee and, bullshit about Bruce.
Right.
I think that would be awesome.
I think that would be awesome too. That's the most fun I would have at the at the book tour, is meeting somebody else who appreciates him just as much as I do.
Okay, you're absolutely correct. And because I don't know anybody in my town that likes Bruce, so I would love that.
Me neither.
Okay, so Bruce is continuing his book tour throughout the summer for the next few months. And that is going to be, the next one is going to be actually tonight, 8:25 in Cincinnati, Ohio. Don't make me laugh. 8:26 in Columbus, Ohio. And finally, 8:28 in Cleveland, Ohio. Looks like he really likes Ohio.
Ohio. Yeah, it's the state.
Yeah, that's the good state. You like Ohio?
Yeah, who doesn't like Ohio?
And then, of course, the big one is going to be Detroit, Michigan on 8/29. That's where he's going to be at the Redford Theater, right?
I heard that was a sold-out show.
Of course it's sold out. The Redford Theater is where they premiered Evil Dead. Well, it was actually Book of the Dead at the time.
Right.
Back in 1981, but he's going home. And yep, it's sold out. So if you missed out on that, I do apologize.
And Don Campbell's going to be there too.
Don Campbell, the brother of Bruce. We call him the Don. He's going to be there. And it's full circle. That's what I told Don this week. He posted something about that on Facebook. And I said, it's full circle, isn't it?
How fun.
Now, after the big 8/29, he's going to be at Ann Arbor, Michigan on 8/30. Chicago, Illinois on 9/1. And then he's headed to Toronto, September 2nd and 3rd.
That's awesome.
He's even making his way up there. And then a few days later, he's coming down to Iowa City, Iowa on 9/5. St. Louis, Missouri, 9/7.
Missouri?
Kansas City, Missouri, 9/9. I say Missouri because when you're from Missouri, you don't say Missouri.
Missouri?
You call it Missouri. Missouri.
Missouri?
No. When you live there, they say Missouri. I had a buddy from there.
That's crazy.
And I would say Missouri, and he'd say, that's what you call it. When you live in Missouri, you call it Missouri.
You don't think he was just busting your chops, do you?
No, because I've asked people, and I've heard, and they all agree. It's just, I guess it's a home thing. You know what I mean? It's a home state thing.
Yeah.
In any case, St. Louis, Missouri on 9/7. Kansas City, Missouri on 9/9. And that would be it. That goes all the way up to September 9th.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Get your tickets.
Yes.
Make sure you call. It's getting close, so tickets may not even be available.
Right. If there are tickets. Some book places are still allowing you just to line up. But
right. And you know something? No matter what, if you get a chance to see The King or not, buy the book, Hail to the Chin, Further Confessions of a B-Movie Actor. It is hilarious. Absolutely. and hear all about his thoughts on Paul Newman.
And his coffee.
So what do we got going on today?
Today, we are going to be going over The Evil Dead.
Finally, we've made it. The Evil Dead, once known as the Book of the Dead. And we have a special guest, don't we?
Yes, we do. Kyle Robert Shorter. Yay.
Sweet. Let's give him a call.
Bring, 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 bring.
All right. Well, welcome Kyle Robert Shorter to the show. Kyle, how are you?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
Awesome, man. It's great to hear your voice finally. We've been talking for months over Facebook, so it's good to hear how you sound.
Yeah, I sound not too bad. I'm just a guy.
Right. Well, that's good. Not just a guy. You are like one of the most ultimate Evil Dead fans I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm the dude. Just kidding.
So, today's topic is actually the original Evil Dead, once titled Book of the Dead. Is that your favorite Evil Dead film?
Well, my answer's always the same. I love the whole franchise as a whole, so I can't really choose, or I don't like to.
It's like having to choose your favorite child.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a lot of people can't choose, but I think I'm one of the few people who can make a clear distinction. I mean, I, like you, enjoy all of them, love them all, but for me, clearly, Evil Dead 2.
If I had to be stuck in a room for the rest of my life, I could live with the original.
All right, and that's good, because that's what we're going to talk about. Now, I guess the biggest thing for me is trying to find something to say about Evil Dead that has not been said already a million times by a million people. I mean, this is one of the most influential movies of all time, so it's going to be a little bit difficult, but I understand you have some things that you'd like to talk about.
Well, it's just like things I've noticed, because like you, I've went and I watched them over again, like to try find something new to talk about, and there's just like so many things that I've written down, and some of them ideas that I've passed off, and just I'm gonna start with I think the best part about if you had to start Evil Dead 2 after showing someone the first film, started at 6 minutes and 43 seconds, because then the movie Evil Dead 2 will be a direct sequel. That way they won't have to see the opening scene, and it'll be a little bit more clear to them.
So you're talking about when the evil force takes him, right? When it goes through. Okay. You see, and that's a good idea.
Yeah, my one friend, I told him he should edit all three movies together, where it would be like just a one long extended cut of the whole, all three movies. Yeah, it's a really good idea. And his name's Mike Nickel. He also actually just put out a extended cut of the Evil Dead remake, and it was like really well done with noises and like music from the original film added to the remake. So it's definitely something to check out.
Where could we see that? Because that sounds good.
I could probably get him to post it right on the fan page.
Ooh, that'd be awesome.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Excellent. I'd love to see that. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Anything that could help the Evil Dead remake. I'm not a remake hater, but it wasn't what I expected. I mean, it was okay in its own thing, but to me, it just didn't stand up to what I thought it would be.
I agree.
Yeah, and that was good. I mean, I'd love to see that. So please make sure to post that link, because that's going to be awesome, and I know a lot of people would be interested in that.
Oh, I will, for sure.
Cool. So going back to the original Evil Dead, I mean, story-wise, let me get your opinion on something. Professor Noby, and again, we're going to discard what happens in the TV show, right? Professor Noby opens up, whatever, he translates, right? He had to have found a way to stop it, because when Ash and the gang get to the cabin, they reawaken it. So what do you think happened there? I mean...
Well, he is like a professor after all, so he'd probably know how to read the book, or probably somehow read a translation that helped him stop Henrietta, maybe after maybe he killed her and buried her in the basement. Because I also noticed that the book and the knife are also in the basement with the tapes, so it would just make sense that maybe there's an incantation on the tapes themselves that would actually help Ash. Maybe he like didn't listen to the whole thing, and then maybe right at the end there's one that puts it all or puts an end to it, sort of thing. I don't know. That's what I always thought.
That's what I always thought too, is that he just never listened to recording the whole entire time. There was more to it. They only read the incantation that awakes them. What if at the end of the tape it's a stopping spell, right?
Right. But that makes perfect sense, because I was rewatching The Evil Dead the other day, and basically Ash is listening to Professor Noby after reading chained to incantations, and that's when Cheryl gets possessed. I mean, she was already raped by the trees, so they're doing the card stuff. So he never gets to hear the rest of the tape. It's like shit went down and that was forgotten, But then, I mean, even in the sequel, Professor Noby came back where, as a spirit, and, told him the salvation lies there in the lost pages, which he didn't have. So it's kind of an open-ended thing. I mean, we never really find out what happens to Professor Noby.
Speaking of the Cheryl rape, my one friend pointed out this brilliant thing that it completely slipped my brain from watching it over and over and over again, is that Cheryl, she's brave, right? And she was brave enough to go into the woods alone to try find out what was calling her, right?
Uh-huh.
She went out there and got raped, and then when she came back, who was there to save her? She went to Ash for help, after being so brave, it's like the big brother sort of, I'm there to turn to you sort of thing. So maybe that's where the evil chose Ash to be the one to torture, because he was kind of a nice kind of guy, sort of bookworm type of dude who'd be friendly to a pretty girl, before he grew the bravado and
right
the sex machine sort of guy.
And again, that's a great thing. I mean, and basically, I guess the first person that it touched was a Williams, Cheryl Williams, his sister. And then, of course, the show kind of subverts that and makes it look like Ash was this big party animal, which definitely does not line up with the way he acts in the original. This is clearly a retcon situation.
Yeah, I also think that on the show, they make it seem like Army of Darkness never happened. But if you just think of it like maybe it did, and you just kind of pass it off okay, it's all right that you're not referencing it, and just think of it that we all know that he came back into time and he kicked the Deadites' ass in S-Mart and stuff like that. Maybe just try let it slide, because he works at Value Stop, right? That's a big thing, that he doesn't work at S-Mart anymore. What happened there? Was there some sort of corporate buyout, or well, we all know what happened there is that Universal owns Army of Darkness, and they don't get much of a pay cut or whatever, right? That's why it affects when people buy the Army of Darkness comic books. It's sure, yeah, you're buying it for Ash, but it's Bruce Campbell's not getting any money, sort of thing. That's what I heard, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Until I heard it from the horse's mouth, But yeah.
Right. Well, Universal sucks. I mean, let's be honest. I'm sure you've heard the commentary where Sam's like, well, there were some good people there, and blah blah blah, and he's trying to soft shoe it. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, they took his movie, they butchered it, they edited the shit out of it, they made him change the ending. I mean, they just didn't want to go with the director's vision, and I hate that.
Me too. You know what I really think lacks in that movie is the part where they cut out where Ash goes outside when he's at the windmill, and then he runs it, the horse scares him, and he goes, what are you trying to do, drive me nuts?
Oh, yeah,
he wasn't already driven nuts in Evil Dead. It's what are you trying to do?
The whole original windmill sequence was changed. It makes more sense why he ran into the mirror, because he looks in the door and he sees another Ash looking at him, and he runs at it, and that's why he runs into a mirror. I mean, who runs into a mirror when you're standing in a room?
Exactly.
It makes no sense.
They should at least make it out, extend it out a bit so that they have those scenes, and then have him run into the mirror. And what are your thoughts on the windmill? Do you think that's where the cabin sits?
Oh, and ooh, that's a good one.
That is a great idea, but the only thing is, because again, we're all guessing because they never really say, but I'm assuming that was in England, right?
No, it wasn't. It's in an alternate dimension that doesn't.
Yeah.
Right, and if you're paralleling the universes, the windmill could actually be exactly where the cabin sits.
I like the idea.
Because
I love it.
I do too.
Evil Ash, like he does Cheryl with the cross, and then the lightning strikes.
Right. Yeah, and there's a couple of things in there, the way Evil Ash reforms. I kind of never liked that, how quick that was. It was just cutouts, piecing together.
I agree.
But that's a very interesting thing about the windmill. But again, we're kind of getting on Army of Darkness now. I know we could talk for hours. All three of us could talk for hours. But, okay, so going back to Evil Dead, have you seen the musical?
Yes, I have. I actually got to see it live.
How many times?
Only the once.
Okay, what'd you think?
Oh, it was fun.
Did you sit in the splatter zone?
I sure did. I bought one of their white shirts that has Ash, shooting through your chest, and it looks like he shot a hole through you.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm just a one of the collector who's trying to find all that stuff in a small town. Whereas, like, if I lived in a big city, it'd be so much easier to find more Evil Dead stuff. Like, I know some other collectors that are also super into Evil Dead. Like, I know this one guy, his name's Taylor Deal.
Oh yeah, I know him, Taylor Dow.
Yeah, and he has a serious collection. Everything you could imagine, like, it's impressive. There's also this other girl, her name's Elise. She also has a lot of really cool trinkets from the films and stuff. There's a lot of other people who, like, really dig this stuff, like us too.
You're talking about Elise. She runs the Deadite Slayer, doesn't she?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, she's great. I know she did an interview with Danny Hicks a few weeks back. That was hilarious. It was great. Oh yeah, we're big fans of the Deadite Slayer. Love her.
Yeah, me too.
But again, jumping back to Evil Dead just for a second, if you had to pick one scene from the original Evil Dead, what would be your favorite scene?
My most favorite scene, because there's maybe three. I'll say my first one would have to be, we're gonna bury her. We can't bury Shelly. She's a friend of ours. Ash, she's dead. That would have to be my favorite one, because Ash is a straight pussy right there. And then my second one would be when Ash, or this is tied for first, because when Ash walks in the room and Cheryl's staring at him from the cellar, she goes, "Soon you'll all be like me, and then we'll lock you up in the cellar." Like, that's what the Deadites want to do, is lock Ash in the cellar. Like, it's so funny. Or when he looks at Linda and she's all possessed, and he goes, "Shut up, Linda," or whatever. Those are the best. He totally meant it there. Oh no.
I love all those scenes. Abby, what's your favorite scene from the original?
Scotty goes into the bathroom and he's gonna go pull that curtain away.
Oh yeah, with the rubber nails.
And you
know what I love about that scene? You could totally tell that parts of that scene were filmed like months apart, because like when he's going to pull it back and then it cuts to him, you'll see his hair changes, like he's a little bit older, and you could see like his hair has been cut and is shorter than it is in the actual film. Did you ever notice that?
Yeah, I did. And you know what? His shirts are different.
Really? I've never noticed that.
Go blue and red, and then there's other ones where it's like brown and white.
It's just, because they filmed it so disjointedly.
Well, I just like it because it's Sam Raimi's hand.
You know what I love about the first one is that Ash is like so very naive of the evil's tricks, and it, like, all the torment he's put through in the first film, like, inevitably molds him into what he is in Evil Dead 2.
Right.
Time plays a huge part in the whole first film, because it's like anytime something bad's happening, the clock is there, right? It's like ticking. Everyone's time's ticking, like their lives, right? That's what I think about when the time speeds up, right? Because it's like when it speeds up, it's like their time on Earth is faster, their time's going down quicker, and it's like for Ash, it's like it's almost standing still, tormenting him, and inevitably proving by the end of the film that like Ash is a worthy foe after all the poking and prodding that the evil did to his spirit, right?
Right.
I don't know. In the first movie, he's young. Second movie, he's starting to get older, turned into the badass. Army of Darkness, he is the badass. Now the show, it's like he's starting to get older. His character arc's starting to go down, You don't get faster when you get older. You get slower, and it'll be easier to get you, It's like, that's why I always wonder. It's like, oh no, this show, right? It's like this. I love the show, like 100%. Like every single episode, I found something that I love, but it's like, I have a feeling like this is his character arc. We're going to see it like in Bubba Hotep when he looks at the sky and it says, "All is well," or we're going to get a sad end to Ash.
And that's what I'm thinking too.
In some episodes, like when I was so hooked, just out of joy and excitement of watching the show, like when Lee Majors tells Bruce how proud of him he is, and then he gets killed. Wow moment. It's like, oh my god, like you feel for Ash. It's like that's gonna happen to him. He's gonna like take one for the team, And
Bruce is not really helping to stop that, because he keeps saying we're jumping off a cliff at the end of the season. Nothing's gonna ever be the same. So you're right.
That's all I want to hear, Bruce.
Someone has to die this season, that's for certain. Somebody even asked in the club, Pepper Kaminsky, she said, would you continue to watch Ash versus Evil Dead if they killed off Ash and continued on with the secondary characters? And most people said, hell no.
I would watch it if at the end of season 3 he dies, but Pablo and Kelly have to go back in time and rescue him and ultimately sacrifice their lives so that he can save the world. That'd be the only way.
I'd still watch, but there's no Evil Dead without Bruce.
Oh, definitely not. How would you feel if just, this is speculation, like, I have no spoilers or no news, but like, Jane Levy just showed up on the show, like, from the remake, and they tried, like, making it seem like, okay, Ash is gonna pass the torch. It's like, I wouldn't feel right about that because she didn't really do enough in that film for me to get behind her as much as I did Ash in the first film. The remake is kind of, technically, the way I look at it, the way the story plays out, is more like Within the Woods, right? They could have easily called that movie Within the Woods. The girl survives at the end, or, well, technically, we don't know because Scotty pops up and it's like, blam! And it's like, right? Technically, it's like all they really did with the remake is they could have made it perfect and then had it like some sort of Bruce cameo and then the male characters survived at the end. Modern day, it's like people find that it has to be the woman, right? Because like Ash right there alone, Ashley, the name itself is like, he had the most girl name in the first film. He was the most cowardly character that possibly shouldn't have lived no matter what because of how naive and poor his choices were, right? Whereas like, and technically Ellen Sandweiss, like, she could have been the character to survive the first film, like, if you think about it, because she was the first to get possessed. Like in the remake they made it that, oh, Mia somehow snaps out of it and she's not acting like Cheryl anymore, and then it's like, oh, blam, her brother who wears the blue shirt, ironically, who's like pretty much the Ash character throughout the whole film, is like, what they did wrong with the remake is they should have just, the brother was selfish and didn't sacrifice anything for anybody and just saved himself, whereas it's like complete backwards from the original film. It's like Ash was selfish and he saved himself, right? Whereas he never tried to think of a way to save Cheryl, whereas Cheryl just began to get worse and worse, right? And he's like, what are we gonna do? It's like, as soon as Cheryl turned into dead-eyed Cheryl that was like yelling at him and stuff, he was like, pretty much as soon as that happened, he was like, fuck that. There's only one moment in the whole movie, she's like, Ash, come and lock the chains and let me out. And she's
I'm
like,
all right now, Ashley.
Cheryl?
I'm all right.
Yeah, I'm all right now, Ash. Yeah, exactly.
I love the way they fuck with him, man.
Yeah, totally. And then he's like, Cheryl. And then he like believes her for that 1 second. And then she's like, come and lock the chains and let me out. So awesome. I just love how hardcore Ellen Sandweiss is in that movie. Like, she gave it her all to be Cheryl in that movie. We have to appreciate her just as much as Bruce for that film.
I called her Rambo last week because of, she did all that barefoot running through the woods, and I mean, she really hurt herself.
Yeah, she's amazing. She is like hot number.
Right.
You know what else is like amazing too is that Sam Raimi and Wes Craven used to like literally like throw Easter eggs at each other.
The war?
And the poster on the wall.
The Hills Have Eyes poster, right.
They brought back the poster for us, but not in the cabin. It was at the movie theater in the second last episode. On the movie theater, it says Friday the 13th, right?
That I saw. I did see that.
If they had to end the show properly, they should just say fuck it and let
Freddy versus Jason versus Ash.
You straight up, there's enough. There is enough there that it would be very suiting if Ash closed the book on both of those characters forever and saving the world for good.
Yeah, because we don't need any more sequels.
And not to mention, Robert Englund said himself that he would love to see Ash put down Freddy for good.
This is true, and I'm sure you've heard the story because they did take that meeting. I mean, Rob, Sam, and Bruce went to New Line or whatever it was, and they said they walked into a room of lawyers. You know what I mean? And like, because the money involved in these franchises, they are not going to be able to ever agree on any of that shit. So it was like a 5-minute meeting. I would love to see that, Kyle. I absolutely would love to see that ultimate showdown, but I just know that the suits will never let that happen, man.
I know, it's a crying shame. In Evil Dead, there's the Hills Have Eyes poster, right? And then in 1984, in Nightmare on Elm Street, Nancy's laying on the bed, and she's watching what? The Evil Dead. Like, I have some gripe with that Freddy versus Jason versus Ash comic.
I hate it. I hate both of them because they made a sequel too, and they both sucked. But yeah, I didn't like it at all.
Just to have that power of Bruce Campbell, Robert Englund, and Kane Hodder just in one film together, like they could end all horror movies with that movie. But it's like you said, the lawyers, they would never let us fans have something so pure.
Right. It would be the ultimate movie.
It would all be very suiting to let them all close it together.
Right.
But New Line would have to own everything, otherwise they'd all have a big clusterfuck.
Right.
And it's kind of sad because a lot of the greats are dying, like George Romero and Wes Craven, and the list goes on, right?
Gunnar Hansen.
Like, holy crap, Angus Scrimm.
Yeah. I would love to see it cross over with so many properties. But I know that, and you have a lot of great ideas, and I know that, have you completed work on your film yet?
Yes, I have. I'm trying to film an alternate ending for a director's cut. So I'm itching to get it out there, but it's like I was gonna try get it released by October 13th because I was gonna have it play at this local theater called the Roxy here, and this store called Amazing Stories. They have this magazine. It's called Punch, and bless their souls for letting me write my articles and putting my Evil Dead art in there and getting my name out there for my film. My movie plays around with like H.P. Lovecraft-ish, where it's like what happens with the book itself is like what possesses my killer. It ruins his life and he ends up going and getting killed. But then through the powers in the book, he gets brought back as this unstoppable emotional killing machine. People like I made it for people like Wes Craven and Sam Raimi and all the people who started with absolutely nothing, right? Try what they did. Yeah, I just wrote a script and I was like, yeah, this will be good on film, right? And it's like I never took a class or this, like I learned all on my own. I made everything by myself. I've done the sound, I've did all the editing, I filmed it, I've acted in it.
That's awesome. So it's Out for Blood, like the number 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Out for Blood. What's the name of the killer, the main character?
His name's Philip Graves.
and that's you.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, Phil Graves. Phil Graves, I get it. I see what you did there.
Graves. He fills up graves. It's genius.
Right.
I want this movie to be like, if someone's seen it, they'd be like, he needs to make the sequel to the Evil Dead remake, or like he needs to make a Friday the 13th, or bring back Freddy, or it's like he needs to be that guy. And it's like there's all these people out there who want to be themselves, right? But we should all strive to be like Tom Savini or Robert Kurtzman or like George Romero or Sam Raimi. Like literally, we should all strive to be what they were, and they were just aspiring filmmakers who took chances and didn't care what people said about their films before they put it out. Or I tried to get it out on Blu-ray, but due to other problems, that it's like I've had troubles with my DVD menu for the film itself on Blu-rays, whereas I have no troubles on DVD. Just trying to get it done.
That's fantastic.
It's like, whereas like I always listen to interviews with Bruce Campbell, and it's like he always says that movies that are really hard to make are really easy to watch. It's like, well, my movie was extremely hard to make, and it was no matter when I filmed it or how I filmed it, every single time I always found myself running into difficult problems to try get the story across or try come up with some sort of special effects on the fly that would look good. There's no CGI in my film, and that it's all practical effects done in honor of people like Tom Savini and Tom Sullivan, especially Tom Sullivan, because he literally paved the road for the Evil Dead films. If it wasn't for him sitting at a desk drawing those pages and like making the book and then the Kandarian dagger and all the
rotting chicken bones and everything,
you name it, he's literally the artist who created it. Sam Raimi wrote the story, Bruce Campbell made it come to life.
When is this thing going to be finished and able to be seen and distributed?
I'm going to push definitely by the end of the year. And it's like, my movie, when you watch it as a whole, it's like everything comes together in the end. Like, my one friend, his name's Kurt Walsh, but a lot of people know him by Kurt Dirt. He does a lot of low-budget stuff for Trauma Entertainment. And he always does, like, certain creepy, low-budget horror films that are like...
I mean, you're talking about the big Trauma films, or is it something different? Oh, yeah, okay, so Toxic Avenger, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and Kurt, he's in my film. He plays my drunken deranged, he actually plays a cameo in it, so he's my one named actor, right? And I owe him a lot, and I want to say thank you to him, because it couldn't be possible to be what it is without him either, because he believed in me when I barely believed in myself, and he helped me out as a friend. Like, he lives in England, and I live in Canada, and he's in my movie, so it's like...
That's great.
I did a favor for him, where it's like he was in my movie, and then his friend asked me if I wanted to do the voiceover work on this movie he did, right? But it was like a low-budget film, too, called Face Job, and it was like... It was not like a complete film, right? But it was like a short trailer that was like Grindhouse-like for like this contest. So I helped him out with it, and it was like I did the voiceover work on it, right? So it's like Face Job, true cosmetic terror. Like I did that for the commercial, right?
That's great.
And then it's like, it's rated X for extreme cosmetic terror. Like, and I was like doing all these like things. It was like, all she wanted was a mole removed. All he wanted was her face. And it's like, Face Job.
Sounds great.
Unplug it. Yeah, it was really fun to do. But who would have thunk that? Who wouldn't love to smoke a joint with Bruce Campbell and shoot the shit about everything and pick his brain about the Evil Dead?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't have loved to see Bruce Campbell play Batman? Like,
oh man,
he would have been perfect.
Well, maybe in the early '90s or something. That would have been
totally
amazing.
Like during the Michael Keaton era.
Instead, he went for the Phantom.
His books are like amazing.
Yeah. Have you read the new one?
Oh, no, I haven't. I'm gonna buy it off him on October 9th. That's another reason why my movie's being pushed back, because I am not missing meeting Bruce Campbell. It is my life's mission.
Where's he, in Toronto?
It's in Vancouver.
Oh, Vancouver.
Yeah,
When's
9th.
that? October?
Oh, okay, because I know he's going to Toronto. All right, so he's going back. All right, cool.
So when I go meet him, I'm going to cosplay as Jacksonville Ash, because Ash is at his happiest when he's in Jacksonville all drunk. There's this theory I have, like, okay, say when the show finally ends, and say if some brilliant writer has this idea that they're going to kill off Ash and just end it all without, like, just kind of giving a big middle finger to the fans and being like, hey, I don't care what you guys think about the end of it. I'm going to kill him off, and I'm going to do it in the worst possible way. What if, when they find Necronomicon and the shotgun in the remake, again, I hate bringing up the remake, but it's like I can't talk about it as a whole if I don't talk about all the movies as a whole, is that in the remake, the shotgun and the Necronomicon are in the basement again, right? And the Necronomicon doesn't have a face, and the shotgun's by itself. So it's like, what if Ash dies, the swing that's swinging into the cabin?
Porch swing, yeah.
What if that is Ash's spirit sitting in the chair, like after he completed his mission? Because remember, in Evil Dead 2, he says that he was prophesied to have destroyed the evil, and then Ash looks at Annie and he goes, well, he didn't do a very good job.
Absolutely.
Like, well, what if Ash doesn't do a very good job when the show does come to an end, and we do see him pass away, and it's really sad. And honestly, like, remember when he's having his LSD trip and he's thinking, okay, he's got to bury the book in the cabin, right, in the basement.
Yeah.
There's some truth behind that, but what if it's got to be buried with him? The book, the dagger, the chosen one.
Right. Well, you remember what he was told.
Exactly. And like, what if, say, the chainsaw and the shotgun were like maybe passed off to Kelly and Pablo, like, because Kelly always likes her firearms, and then Pablo's like, I wish I had my rusty chain, yo. Well, you know what? I guarantee you that chainsaw has a rusty chain on it. True.
That's true. And you know what? That may tie in, because we know, I mean, from interviews about season 3, he really says that they're going to delve into the, why Ash is the chosen one, which I've been waiting for since 1987, to be honest with you. Why is this idiot the one, you know what I mean? That's going to be able to save us. But, and if you remember when he, in Books from Beyond episode, they told him the annulment lies within the origin of the man. So obviously we think he's the man. So you might be absolutely right. I mean, the origin and his ending. Mm-hmm.
The origin comes from Brock, because Brock produced Ash. And
right.
Like there's I swear there's sneaky Easter eggs. Like it's like, oh, they pull up to the house where Brock lives, and just so happens to be just like Ash, and he lives in a house that's number 87, the year that Evil Dead 2 came out, and it says Ashy Slashy, and he's wearing a blue shirt and brown pants, but they're like, they got army pockets in them, so they're not quite the same, but it's like Ash gets a lot of his bravado from his father, so to speak, but it's like,
oh yeah,
like, what if when Brock dies, when the Delta runs him over, what if that was Ash and we all think it was his dad, but really that's just old Ash?
That's what people say too, like Ash is his father and things like that. I mean, it could go any way. I wouldn't be surprised.
Mother, where's his mom? And you know what I would love to see? You know who his mom should have been? Farrah Fawcett.
Well, I think she's dead, but a lot of people said, yeah.
That's why she's not in the show.
But I think a lot of people say they want Linda Carter to be his mom. I don't see it, but you know what I mean? A lot of people want Wonder Woman. Brock is getting ready to bang Lillian Pendergrass. He's getting set up in the mirror just like Ash, looking good, looking sweet.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's brilliant.
It's pretty ironic. And like, there's a lot of people that say maybe Ash fucked up, like when he kills Brock in the bathroom in the finale of season 2, because he was trying to tell him something, right? And it's like, what is, that's the big question of season 3. It's like, what is Lee Majors going to tell Bruce? Like,
right, what's the secret? Because he tried to tell him and he got run over by the car. Something of such vital importance, wham! And then he's trying to tell him as he's drowning him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a horrible scene, when he drowns. Tell someone who cares!
I was on the edge of my seat. I was like standing actually on my living room table like, what the hell is, what's going on? You know, the only thing, if I have to nitpick.
That part actually gives me chills when he's standing in the bathroom and he goes, Ashley, in his old voice. Oh, it just gives me it's like, I could just imagine the fear in Ash hearing that, because it's like, all his dead family, they really torment him, like, especially Cheryl. She is relentless in the first movie. She is his biggest foe, just like Ash is Evil's biggest foe in Evil Dead 2, right? It's like right when you think Ash is done and he turns into Evil Ash and everyone thinks that it's over for him, he comes back because the power of love makes him feel. So while he was possessed, he felt an human emotion of loving Linda when he looks at the necklace.
And you know what I love about that? My favorite part about that is because with that necklace, in part 1, it was supposed to have the rays of the sun at the end come through and then hit the book and then show that the book can be burned, and that's how they could beat it. Well, they never got to do it because they didn't have the effects or the money to put that together. But they were still stuck with this necklace. So ultimately, they gave the necklace its own arc. You know what I mean? Where the necklace really didn't mean anything, but ultimately it did, because it's what turned him back human after being turned into a Deadite. So I love that they did get to do some closure on that instead of just leaving the necklace out there.
Totally. You know what I've noticed? Where's the necklace in the show?
Well, I mean, you never saw it again. I mean, I think it served its purpose.
You know what I think? What if he holds it on him like a good luck trinket?
I would have loved to have seen that. I got to be honest with you.
There is people who love this as much as me, and it's you guys, and it's the people on the Bruce Campbell fan page and the Bruce on the Loose. It's like, we're all a cult of whatever, all 2,700 of us, or how many ever there is on the page. I don't know how many there.
There's 50,000, over 50,000. But you're right, though. Abby said that we're a family, and it's true. We are a family. Come on, we talk like every day, all of us on there, don't we?
You know what? I don't mind shooting you guys a message, because like sometimes, like when I'm at my loneliest, it's like sometimes like, oh, maybe if I send them a message, they'll be like, oh, they'll message me back. And it's like some days that actually helps me forget about the everyday shit in life, where it's like, oh, I work this job 80 hours a week, and I can barely pay for my freaking house and all this stuff, and my parents are getting old, and I don't got enough money to meet Bruce Campbell, but it's like, screw it, I'm gonna do it anyways. It's like,
you got to do it. You got to do it. Yeah, anytime you want to hit me up, man, I'll talk to you.
It's my destiny to meet him.
Yeah,
and when I meet him, I'm gonna be dressed as Jacksonville Ash, so he knows, okay, this guy is gonna be only dressed like this because he's at his happiest.
Mm-hmm. That's great, man.
Just like Ash. It's like, I don't know. I relate to Ash on such a huge level. I think he had the potential to be one of the biggest stars ever, and Hollywood fucking pissed it away.
Yeah, they wouldn't let him. They never.
Yeah. But before we go, I'll
go ahead, man.
I actually wrote it, so bear with me. It says, I collect all sorts of horror things on a wide range, but my main quest is for Evil Dead and Bruce-related goods. I have all sorts of Evil Dead and Bruce-related stuff, from comics, VHSs, DVDs, Blu-rays, action figures, the Evil Dead trilogy of video games, hats, countless shirts, walkthrough guides, movie tickets, movie posters, pop figures, cosplay stuff, statues, models, movie props, an actual Homelight XL that can still cut wood. Hell, I even have an Autolycus Xena action figure. And actually, an actual factual Bruce fund that I have stashed for Evil Dead and Bruce stuff. There isn't anything I am more passionate about, like nothing. I absolutely love the Evil Dead. It is my all-time favorite subject, and Bruce is my hero and always will be. I've always looked up to him and tried to be like him and be as a man like he is. And when people ask me why I like that, it's because I'm just me, and that's what I love.
So, Out for Blood coming out hopefully by the end of this year, where we could see Philip Graves. I love the name, man. I love it. It's just brilliant. We got that to look forward to. Don't forget to post that link you were saying about the Evil Dead remake with the new sounds and everything edited in, please.
Oh, for sure I will. My friend Mike Nickel, I'll get him on that. I'll tag him in this who is really starting to strive. Me and him also made this joke a long time ago that if we do both make it as great filmmakers, we were going to team up and make a live action heavy metal movie.
I would love it.
The original Evil Dead, in my opinion, could arguably be the most timeless and possibly the greatest horror film ever. Even though there are Bruce and the cast are very modest and call the movie a failed melodrama, I always just stop and think of when the time the movie came out and everything that happens in the first film. Like, it's very brutal and creepy and has a strong, realistic yet campy earth magic vibe, which turns ferociously fast and like a blood-soaked roller coaster ride from the time it starts until the time it stops. And on that note, Evil Dead 2 could likely be one of, if not the greatest sequels ever.
No, 100% agree. I mean, I don't think any sequel has ever been better than that. That's awesome. Well, again, thanks, man. We really appreciate it, and we love it, man. You're awesome, and we will definitely have you back on the show, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
Yo, good night, Kyle.